Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining in. Welcome to the MAD Quotient. MAD in the MAD Quotient stands for Make a Difference. This is an endeavor of mine that I started actually in March to introduce people who inspire me to the world and the work that they do. It's about people who follow their passion, follow their heart, and do what the inner being tells them to do. And today we have over here our guest, Sarabjit Kaur, or Sapna as we call her. Sapna is an MBA from Pune University. She has worked in the field of, I think, a manufacturing industry in the HR field. And thereafter, she was also a lecturer in the Pune University. And in the time that she was there, she received the recognition that people take 3 to 4 years to get in just 6 months. So she's always been an achiever. After that, post-marriage, she worked as a teacher, and within 5 years, she was the vice principal of a school. Sapna is married to Colonel Karandeep Singh, and she is the mother of an adorable 6-year-old Tia. She loves painting, she's into yoga and Zumba. And today we are here to talk about the work that she does with kids who have cancer, right? So thank you, Sapna, for joining us. So Sapna, you said you work as a counselor for the kids who have cancer and for their parents. Would you like to share what you do, exactly what work you do?
Good evening, Mr. Pradhan, and good evening to everybody. Thank you all for joining, and thank you, Mrs. Pradhan, for providing me this platform where I can share my stories and my work, what I do. Yes, when it comes to counseling, Mrs. Pradhan, whenever a case comes to me, counseling is not only for the child, it does happen for the parents as well. Because parents are someone who are more stressed. They are under so much of anxiety that why this disease happened to their child, and why this happened to their family, and how the treatment has to be taken care of, how the finances has to be there are a lot of questions which they ask. So if a parent is satisfied first, if a parent's anxiety is reduced first, it automatically appears on the child. So what we try to do is we try to calm down the parents. We try to answer their questions as much as I can. Answering them reduces a little bit anxiety of theirs.
Right.
And then I explain them how this journey is going to be there. And I assure them that I am going to be there with them in this journey in which the child has to be taken care of, all the treatments and everything. Then comes the child. So if a child is very small, then we don't touch the child. Then because he hardly knows what is happening.
Right.
ठीक है, कभी अगर इंजेक्शन लग रहा है, कीमो लग रही है, तो वो अपसेट होते हैं, रोते हैं, but this is that's it for them. But if a child is big and he knows that he's suffering from cancer, then the role becomes very big. I'll just share one story of a patient. Keshav is a patient who has bone cancer, Mr. Pradhan, and this child is there with me from a year now. But it happened that I have this tendency that I meet my patients regularly. So this was one of the days when I went to PGI and I met them. So Keshav was sitting very far and very isolated and alone. So I asked him, Keshav, what is wrong with you? Why are you so sad? So he said, ma'am, मेरे को डॉक्टर ने बोला है कि मैं मरने वाला हूँ. I was shocked. I said, no, Keshav, doctors doesn't say these things to patients. I'm sure he must be talking about somebody else. But he was so sure. He said, no, ma'am, मेरी मम्मी से ही बात कर रहे थे, मेरे बारे में ही बात कर रहे थे. I said, okay. Keshav, let's take small steps. I took him for a walk. I just asked him one thing. मैंने कहा, केशव, अगर डॉक्टर ने बोला है तो आप मुझे ये बताओ, who decides that आपने कितना जीना है? God is there. Why would you, you will not believe, he left food, he left talking to people, he left his games, everything. He isolated himself with this, just a statement. God knows why the doctor said this to him. I just told him, okay, Keshav, let's just take it कि आप चलो जितना भी time आपके पास है, let's enjoy that time. And I made it a point that I'll talk to him every day. Either it is in person or it is in on video call or stuff. You believe me, Mrs. Pradhan, today he is absolutely fine. He underwent a surgery. He's cancer free now.
Lovely.
So
Lovely.
this is how a counseling medicine is working, where medicine does its work. But the counseling is which gives that power to the child or a patient to fight against it and to believe that I'm going to make it.
True.
So this is how we counsel.
Yeah. So what background are these patients of yours from?
Ms. Pradhan, they are from very underprivileged backgrounds. Because if somebody is privileged, they don't come to these hospitals. They, of course, go to very good hospitals and they hardly. But when it comes to counseling, I have counsel patients who are well doing also. And most of them, my patients are who are from very poor background. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Sapna, you started your career with an MBA, working in the corporate sector. You were a lecturer, you were the vice principal of a school. So you left all of that to start working with kids who have cancer, right? And that too as a volunteer. What was it that inner shift that happened within you that made you take this leap of faith?
Mrs. Pradhan, trust me, I actually understood the difference between happiness and satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
Happiness is a very short-term feeling. You know, a cup of coffee can give you happiness. You got a good job gives you happiness. You bought a house, car. These things give you happiness. But the satisfaction is a long-term. You know, if your soul is satisfied with what you're doing is very important. You know, when I was going under my treatment, Ms. Pradhan, I was 19 years old. And I was very privileged, you know, that my dad was in army and I could get treatment in the best hospital, Kolaba, Bombay. So, but then for further tests, for advanced tests, I used to go to the civil hospitals. And there I could see that there are so many people who really doesn't know what to do. They are cancer positive and they're just running from here, one department to other department. Nobody is guiding them. They have no idea from where the finance is going to come. They don't know anything. And I used to feel bad for them. You know, we are getting everything. We have all the knowledge. Doctors are telling us everything and they doesn't know anything. So at that time, when I was 19 years old, I just made a promise to myself that if I survived this disease, I will, you know, in future, I will do become the part of journey of these patients and I'll do serve these patients. But then being a teenager, it was in a subconscious mind and buried. I did my graduation, post-graduation. My treatment took about 7 years. In this, with my parents' support, my mom was a biggest support to me. My dad, my brother was my biggest support. And, you know, I could do my graduation, post-graduation. I worked also. And believe me, I fell ill so many times in these years. Now also I'm in a lot of medicine and stuff. But then got married and, you know, life goes on. Karan got posted to Bathinda. And here also I joined a school. But, you know, that happiness was there, but the satisfaction wasn't there. And Karan could actually make out that, Sapna, you're not satisfied. What is wrong with you? I said, I don't know, but this is not, if my God gave me this life, because my doctors has also told me that I'm not going to survive this disease. But I did because I didn't accepted that I'm going to die. So I said, no, I'm not happy. And it was just getting a self intro. I was trying to ask myself what I want to do. So if the day I'm dying, I want to look back and see what I did in my life. So teaching was a big no. I just love this profession. I've done this for like 7-8 years and I love being around kids. But then is this what I want to do in you know, rest of my life? The question was big no. But then Karan said, okay, fine. You know, my husband is a big support. He said, now just leave the job right now and give yourself this opportunity to think what do you want with your life. And I had a friend, Dr. Varun in Babina. So we used to keep on discussing my disease and my medication and stuff. So I gave him a call and we were just discussing ki kya karna chahiye. I don't want to do this. What should I do? So, you know, telling him my survival story, you know, this ye hota tha mere saath. So suddenly this thought came up that I had promised once, you know, that I'm going to do this. So that was the inner shift, which was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And now I will fulfill my promise, which I made to myself. So this is how I started. Yeah.
How wonderful. And because of you remembering that you promised yourself, now I'm sure a lot of people are benefiting from this. And of course, like you said, the satisfaction that you get.
Yes. I used to have these questions, why this happened to me and why I have to take this medicine. I wanted to become an army officer. I could not do that. So all these questions, you know, now I'm satisfied. Okay, I was made for this. I was kept alive to do this. So now I'm very happy with what I'm doing.
Wonderful. That's nice. And Sapna, I also remember, because I remember seeing your posts, because since we are on Facebook and we are connected on Facebook, I see your posts about all your patients and how you're always trying to gather funds for them, right? And your posts are there about these the particular patients requiring a certain amount, and I think most of it is coming in through word of mouth.
Hanji, Mr. Pradhan, I'm telling you, army has, my friends in army have supported me blindly. Matlab, all this started from Bathinda. So I'll just want to share how I started this. The day I left my job, I was like, okay, fine. I have to search where I'll get this opportunity where I can, counsel patients, I can help them in any way. So I started going to all the hospitals. And most of the hospitals did not understand what I'm trying to do. Bathinda is a cancer capital of India, but they were not understanding what is my thing. But then Max Hospital, Bathinda understood. The HOD, I met HOD of the onco department. He said, okay, that's a great idea. Why don't you go and talk to my patients? Because I'm sure, they will like it. So when I started interacting with patients, I came to know that there are a lot of schemes which Indian government has given for the cancer patients, but these schemes are not providing everything. It's not 100% free treatment, as we say. They provide you 50 to 60% of the expenses. Rest the patient has to take care of itself. So now, as I started going to hospitals, and started talking to people, so everybody used to tell me, "Ma'am, आप ना हमारा ये test करा दो, आप हमारे को ये दवाई दिला दो, हमें नहीं मिल रही है." So I used to feel like, okay, I'll do it. Thank God, Karan is well earning, so I started using his money, bindas. Then my neighbors, they participated a lot. My friends in Bathinda supported me like anything. There's like, Sapna, you go, you tell us what is the issue. So I used to tell them, this is the account number of the patient, or this is the account number of the particular lab jahan pe ye test hona hai. So you can transfer the money there. And I used to send them the bills. Gradually, people started trusting me, looking at my work. So they said, okay, we don't want to put money anywhere. We'll put it in your account and you use on whatever child you want to. But then my one point was very clear that if somebody has given me 5,000, for example, I will send all the bills of 5,000 back to the patient, to the donor, and all the reports, the child photograph, and everything. That this is the child on which the money has been used, and these are the bills, so that there's a complete transparency.
Right.
I'm privileged. I don't need anything for myself, but still I wanted people to know that this is where, on which case the money is being used. So at least they also get this satisfaction. Okay, because this is what my friends used to tell me. Because we feel very satisfied कि चलो इस बच्चे के लिए हमने MRI करा दी या chemo के लिए sponsor कर दिया and all this. So this is how the word of mouth went on, and people started trusting me. And you have been a great support, Mrs. Pradhan. Most time I'm calling you and Ms. Pradhan, yeah, I'm here stuck and stuff. So really, so this is how.
And I've also seen that a lot of people have actually just completely opened up their hearts and given very, very generously.
Very generously.
Really nice.
And I feel blessed that they trusted me like this. And it is very difficult. It's not that 100 rupees also giving to somebody is a big deal. But if you trust somebody, then you do it with an open heart.
Yeah. And I'm sure you must have faced some challenges, in getting
challenges, Mr. Pradhan. It's so difficult. Every day, alone, getting up in the morning and, going to hospital. And then there are so many difficult, problems सबसे ज़्यादा Mr. Pradhan ये आती थी कि these patients, they don't have documentation, proper documentation that is required. Any scheme that has to be taken has required documents. They need certain documents, like they have to have the birth certificate, your Aadhaar card, and your BPL card and stuff. So these patients doesn't have all this. So going to different departments to get these things made was the biggest struggle, because the treatment of cancer takes 15 to 20 lakhs. And if you're not supported by any government scheme, it is no way possible for anybody to do that. True. Let it be any big NGO, let it be any big donor, it is just not practically possible. So for my struggle used to be that I used to try to get all the documents and then apply them. So this was the biggest struggle. And best sometimes, Mrs. Pradhan, struggle was to convince parents to get the child treated also. I feel so sad. There used to be, there have been many cases when the girl child is the patient, and the parent has to go out of the station to get the treatment, and they're not ready just because she's a girl child, you know.
My
So
God.
that convincing them that please don't do this with the child, you know, so what if she's a girl? Mrs. Pradhan, believe me, they मेरे मुंह पे they used to tell me कि नहीं नहीं मैडम ठीक है कुछ नहीं हमारे पास और बहुत बच्चे हैं अगर एक हो भी जाएगा अगर मैं चला जाऊंगा ट्रीटमेंट कराने तो पीछे को कौन खिलाएगा because they are daily wages they work then only they'll try you know they'll feed their family in the evening so they were also at a point correct but then I could not let them do this to the child. So what I started doing is that okay, you go there, you start the treatment, or you send somebody else from your family who can go there with the child and get the treatment. If not possible, I will look for a job in you know city where the treatment has to happen. I will try to give you employment. I will try to get you employment so that you can bear your expenses at least. You know you can feed your family and the expenses of the child. I will take care of them. I will. I used to. Can Kids is the organization which has helped me a lot. I used to contact them. I used to get the you know other all these schemes availed. Whatever rest kharcha used to be there, I used to do it from my. I used to tell my friends. I used to tell my donors ki if they can carry this thing. So these were the struggles which I'm doing today also.
And all single-handedly.
All single-handedly.
Of course, the emotional support is there, your support system, the moral support is there from the
Pradhan,
friends.
that here in Chandigarh, I have a very good help. There's one of my friend, Vaibhav. He is again a 22 years old boy, and he's so much into social work. So he has become a great support in this station. Otherwise, Bathinda it was all single-handed. So here, both of us are doing.
Right, and a lot of this work that you have done was done during the lockdown.
Ms. Pradhan, I was doing it before the lockdown. I did it for like 1.5 years, and then the lockdown came.
And how did you support your patients through the lockdown then?
Mr. Pradhan, technology is a wonderful thing.
Okay.
Technology is a wonderful thing because I used to do video calls to my every patient. I used to give them a video call. I used to talk to them, and we had asked. During this 1.5 period of time when I was working, I made certain good contacts in Bathinda with police and with the medical store shops and with hospitals, doctors. So I used to request the medical shop wala person ki, can you please give the medicine? I'll pay you online. You know, and if the test has to be done, so I used to call the laboratory ki aap test kar dijiye, I'll pay you online. And counseling, I used to do it online. I used to request doctors to see the patient if emergency is there because movement of patients was also restricted.
True.
So we had actually asked HOD, जो हमारे hospital के थे, Advanced Cancer Center, we asked him to provide a letter to our patients where mentioning that these are cancer patients and they need to travel to the hospital for the treatment, which cannot be delayed. So we started providing these letters to them, and we requested that if they can give us also this letter, so that at least we can travel, you know, and help them come to hospital. So this was also one way that helped a lot to our patients and me, of course.
Okay. Are there any success stories that you would like to share?
Success stories always, Mrs. Pradhan. There are certain cases. I'll talk about one of my first case, Priyanka. When I met her, she was suffering from stomach cancer, and uska already 2 saal se treatment chal raha tha. But the day I joined Can Kids, the day I went to the hospital, this was the first case given to me, and doctor said ki she has stopped taking treatment and she is really sick, and you know her father has given a call to doctor that she has gone back home. Before me meeting her, she had gone back home, and she was not feeling well. She was absolutely in a bad condition, but still she was not ready, and she has just accepted that I'm going to die and I don't want to go through the pain of the treatment. So the doctor said, if you can see, it was 100 kilometers away, Mrs. Pradhan, and due to my health issues also, I'm not allowed to travel. But then when I called her and I had a video call with her, looking at her condition, I could not stop myself. I said, no, I have to go this. I drove alone. I went to that village where she stay. I admitted her near civil government hospital, and I gave them money to get the treatment done. It was first aid. Then I spoke to the girl every day. And after like 20 days, she agreed to come back to hospital to resume her treatment. And you will not believe, I'll show you the photographs in end, Mrs. Pradhan, you'll see the difference. She is absolutely fine today, and her cancer is she's absolutely cancer free. So this is like, there are many stories like this, but this is one of them, you know. So
Lovely. Any more?
yeah, another is a Kashif, a boy from Kashmir. Kashif, I met Kashif 1 year back, and his uncle, his mamaji, got my number from somewhere, and he just gave me a call that I have heard, ma'am, that you help patients. Why don't you come and meet us? I said, okay, I'll come and meet you. No, not a problem. I went the where they were staying. I went there. It was a very, very shabby place. I tried talking to the patient, Kashif boss. He's 16 years old. He was so depressed. मतलब he was like कि मैम मुझे अपना घर छोड़ के कश्मीर छोड़ के यहाँ आना पड़ा है, मुझे नहीं अच्छा लगता है यहाँ पे. And I asked him why don't you like here? You have to get yourself treated, and Chandigarh is a place where you'll get the best treatment. He said people are not accepting me because being a Muslim and from Kashmir.
That's sad.
I felt so sorry for our people. I felt so sorry for them that really, you know, Kashmir is a part of India, and this is how we treat them, and then they treat us back like that. So why are we maintaining this chain? I promised Kashif, I said, Kashif, you will get treatment here. I will get you a nice place to stay, and I'll make sure that you go from here without cancer. That's my procedure. I spoke to him every day. We used to meet every day. I started contacting NGOs. I started contacting good hospitals. And it happened that he was admitted in a very good hospital. I got him a place to stay. There also, Mrs. Pradhan, other patients, of course, there was cancer patients staying there, and they were not very happy to accept him. But then I spoke to each and every family there individually, you know, sitting in their room. I asked them one thing. Manika, your child is suffering from cancer. That child is also suffering from cancer. He doesn't have a place to stay. And you treating him like a terrorist is not going to help you and him. You know, so why don't you just accept that he's a human being and has come here like you to get treatments? So let's build this positive environment for everybody. Manika, you accept them or not, he is going to stay here. That is irrespective of your, Manika, you will not decide, you know, but then I am just requesting you, if you can please bear with him and just accept him. Ms. Pradhan, after 10 days, I received this call from Kashif, and he says, you know, I got so many friends here, and we are like, sit together, chat, and this thing. So, you know, this thing was also a success for me. Yeah. Then getting him treated. Today, he is cancer free. There are some complications. He's still in Chandigarh. He's getting treatment done, but he's cancer free. Okay. So, you know, these things really boosts my morale. Okay.
Yeah. No, and definitely having a positive environment, you know, really helps in the healing.
It is so much required, Mr. Pradhan. It is not only for the child, for the parents as well. Because, you know, getting up in the morning, taking your sick child to hospital and getting him treated, and coming whole day you're in a hospital, going from one department to other department. So when you come down back home, and the place has created these rooms are basically their home. So Manika, when you come back home, you want a good environment, then give this to others also. Now, create that kind of environment when everybody is coming back. So everybody should feel happy to see each other.
Right.
Because this is going to be your house for another 1.5 or 2 years. So let's make this environment so beautiful that all of you want to come and stay. So thankfully, they all were happy. So
these places are NGOs, and
this is again a CanKids place. They have created a home away from home.
Lovely.
But then I am in charge of it. I have to take care of the activities there in Chandigarh. I used to take care of Batenda. Now I'm taking care of it in the Chandigarh also.
Chandigarh. So, a lot of diseases, Sapna, have some or the other stigma associated with it, and cancer is also definitely one of the diseases that has certain stigmas. So what are some stigmas that you have come across, that you've seen in your work with all these people from these underprivileged backgrounds?
Mr. Pradhan, there are certain stigmas, and I will not say there are certain which are only restricted to the underprivileged backgrounds, but there are certain which are prevail in our society also. I'll just name some of the stigmas. The first is isolation.
Mm.
When a person, this actually happens in the lower middle class families, that if somebody is suffering from cancer, the people try to isolate the person, that hame bhi ho jayega, you know, they feel it's a communicable disease, which it is not. You know, and if it's a, especially if it's a woman, if a wife has got it, the husband will leave her. There are many cases. Recently, I had on my Facebook, I had spoken about Manju. She is a blood cancer patient. She has a 2.5 years old son. The day she got her report of blood cancer, her in-laws literally called her father and said, please come and take your daughter. We cannot get the treatment done. You want to get the treatment done? Aap karaiye, jaise karana hai, aapko karaiye. It's not our responsibility. She's your daughter. You do it. You know, from somewhere, because my number has spread almost everywhere. So they got my number and they gave me a call. When I came to know that a husband, you know, the wife and husband relationship is such a beautiful thing. When the time has come that when you have to support the lady, the husband has just said, no, I cannot do it. And they kept the baby also. So this is our child. We'll keep our child. You take away your child. How insensitive it is. And I spoke to Manju and she was crying. She's like, I want my child. I want, and you will not believe, Ms. Pradhan, somewhere she has also accepted that she's going to die. Because everybody was telling her that ki isko to cancer ho gaya, isko to cancer ho gaya. People, her neighbors stopped coming to her. Everybody stopped meeting her. So everybody was like ki nahi, isko to cancer ho gaya. But her father was very strong. He said, to kya ho gaya, cancer ho gaya. मैं कराऊंगा तेरा treatment. So sweet. Otherwise, I've seen certain fathers also who say, it's okay, कोई बात नहीं, हो गया तो छोड़ दो, मरने दो. You know, that kinds. So he gave me a call. They came. I got them here in Chandigarh. Every day I used to go and, you know, Ms. Pradhan, actually COVID ki wajah se na, there's a lot of restrictions, you know, getting admitted in the hospital also. There's a lot of protocol that has to be followed. So every day I used to go to hospital and get these things done. Finally, she got admitted. Every day I used to either meet her or counsel on the phone. I told her how to, you know, I said, don't stop talking to your child. Don't stop talking to your child. You force your husband to, you know, let me speak to my child, and you talk to him also. And you tell them that you're happy. You're getting treated and you're absolutely fine. If you'll keep on crying कि मुझे cancer हो गया, मुझे cancer हो गया, मैं नहीं बचूंगी, तो everybody is going to just let you go. कि हाँ ठीक है, इसको तो हो गया, छोड़ दो. मैंने कहा, don't portray that image. You have to show that how good and happy you are, and you're getting a good treatment, and you'll be fine. Then people will start coming back to you.
True.
After this, her husband started responding thankfully when she started saying that I'm fine, and she actually started feeling fine also. Treatment is one part. It's going to take 2-3 years.
True.
But then accepting that I'm a cancer patient, I'm going to die, it's not going to help. True. For the patient also, and for the people around her also. So these are small things which, you know, people have to understand. And just I was telling about stigmas, isolation is the biggest stigma. People just leave you, stop coming to you, stop talking to you. And cancer is a treatment in which you have to be in hospital for a long time. And in that time, if your friends and your family is not visiting you, how alone you are.
True.
So that is where the family plays a big role. The friends play a big role. But it's been 4 to 5 years I'm doing this. I have never seen anybody coming and meeting the patients. So this is the biggest stigma which I feel is there. Second is, Mr. Pradhan, for women, breast cancer especially. If a woman suffers from breast cancer, the breast has to be cut. It has to be amputated. The deformity of the body, it is already, you know, putting that woman in depression.
Right.
She's already, you know, into that phase that first I'm having cancer and second I'm getting this, you know, deformity also. Here also, women will laugh on that kind of a woman. Forget about men. I feel so sad. I feel so bad. You know why?
Yeah.
Why? For this, Mr. Pradhan, what I did, this was Bathinda Mein, one of my oncologists. He suggested that why don't we start, you know, knitting some of the ball kind of a thing that which they can put in their, you know, bikinis, and the deformity can be little managed. So this is what we also started there. We started this thing also. We gave a lot of these kind of knitted, you know, things to the women to regain their confidence. That, but the problem is women are laughing on women on their deformity, and men too are there. So this was another thing which I felt
must be pretty traumatic for the women, of course.
Very traumatic, because suffering and going through, already she's losing her hair, already she's you know, going through so many skin changes, already there's a lot of issues because of chemotherapies going on. and then this deformity, and people telling her, अच्छा अच्छा इसको तो पक्का वो वाला कैंसर हुआ होगा तभी काट दिया, these kind of language,
Right.
these words, it really hurts, really hurt. So this is another stigma. Next is, Ms. Pradhan, people try, this is sure ignorance, they don't know that if certain organ of your body which tells you that female and male, for example, if a woman has gone through a uterus cancer or cervical cancer, the partner will start questioning, is she good enough now? These questions are put in front of us, and we have to explain this to them that there's not going to be any difference.
Sad.
So they question that if a male is going through it, so then the male will ask, ma'am, is this going to reduce my power, or it's going to reduce my this? So that is already another stigma, and we have to explain that it's nothing like that. Once the cancer is over, once the treatment is over, it's absolutely everything is going to be fine. So making them understand this is also very difficult, and trust me, they don't understand. They don't accept it also, how much we try, they don't. And Ms. Pradhan, uske aage hai marriage. Marriage is a thing. If a girl is suffering from cancer, nobody will accept her with that. हाँ, आप झूठ बोल के शादी कर लेते हो तो आपकी हो जाती है, but if you have that strength of saying that I am a cancer survivor and I will tell, and then only I'll get married, there is a lot of hurdle. People don't accept. And this is not, I'm talking about only the underprivileged thing. I'm talking about the entire Indian society. There has been many cases where this thing has happened. And if you let me tell, it's my own experience also. Being an army officer's daughter, bahut, very good rishtas and used to come. Here, my parents will agree with me. But then I was very firm that if I'll get married, I will tell the person that this is what my medication is, this is what happened to me, this is what, the cancer is, and I'm a survivor and stuff. You'll not believe so many people have said, no, I'll not marry. Just because, and at that position when I was, my thing was going on, I was absolutely fine. I was working in Pune University as a lecturer, and I was earning like 80,000 per month. And I used to go in the morning 8 o'clock, and I used to come back at night 8 after my gym and stuff. But then that stigma was, no, cancer ho gaya hai, to ab to pata nahi kaise hoga and all that. But then I want to say this, Karan, he came and he just, I told him also, and he just told me one thing. Yaar, baad mein bhi to ho jata, to kya ho jata? Just leave it. So to say this to a woman, a girl who's already, has seen so much is a very big thing. A real man has to be, you have to be a real man to say that let it be. It's okay. I know that you're fine. I'll take care of it. So,
yeah.
But this is what is happening. I was lucky enough, but I've seen many cases that girls don't get married. Just because
nobody gets married. Very sad.
Very sad.
Yeah. So, my God, that's something. I also remember, Sapna, that, and I think this is what actually got me starting to talk to you. I remember last year during the lockdown, you started this Feed a Family program.
Hanji.
Yeah. And so what made you do that? How did it start off?
Ms. Pradhan, it was a very pandemic was on. All camps were, all doors were closed. We were not supposed to go out. Very bad condition was going on. Everybody knows that. One evening, I received a call from one of my patient's father. He was like 6-year-old boy whose father gave me a call and said, "Ki madam, मैं ना बहुत परेशान हूँ." I said, "Okay, क्या हो गया? बताइए." He's like, "मेरे पास ना अपने बच्चे को खिलाने के लिए कुछ नहीं है." Mr. Pradhan, we don't realize. Everybody will not realize that this was also happening when we were locked down. We were going under lockdown. The country was under lockdown. We were privileged. We had money. We had food. We had everything. In fact, we were taking this as a holiday, and we were enjoying our lives. But that call really shook me so much. I could not sleep whole night. I said, "My God, just imagine that father wo kitna majboor hoga ki he had to give me a call ki madam, mere paas kuch nahi hai khane ko, main kya karu? Main kya khilaun?" Then I started calling all the patients. I started calling all the families, and I came to know, my God, everybody's under lockdown. They are not, and anyways, they are daily wages. So they are not earning anything. So jitna unka reserve tha, jo bhi tha, it was over. Almost everybody told me that we are not getting anything, ma'am. Hum kya kare? Okay. Next day, if you remember, I came online on Facebook and I requested everybody that I am going to start this. I want to feed them. I don't need any money. You please give me ration. You give me atta, chawal, dal. You what? Just give me that, and I will manage. I will try my level best to put, manage to give this to the families. Bathinda helped me a lot. Bathinda, all officers, entire station came forward and they started sending me money. They started sending me ration. They started sending me, big boxes of chawal, dal, atta, and stuff. And I started making bundle of, like, I started give एक bundle में 10 kilo आटा, चावल, दाल, oil, everything. I tried to do it कि 2 महीने का राशन at least उनके पास पहुंचे. I started calling them because I could not go out, and they already had that pass on which they could travel. I started calling them that whenever you come and visit hospital, you come to Fauji Gate. I give me a call. I'll come there and deliver the ration. I took permission from the gate, and they were right. Okay, you can do this. Entire station, Bathinda station, Mrs. Pradhan, came together, and
Okay.
we fed more than. I lost the count after that. 100 tak to maine count kara. I lost the count, but we fed more than 100 families. We gave them minimum 2 months of ration, and this continued for like 3-4 months. So this is how this came up.
Beautiful.
And then not only patients, because my number was circulated, I used social media. I WhatsApped everywhere. I Facebook and Insta, everything. Word of mouth went along. So on not only patients, everybody who was having this issue of food, they started calling me, and we were like delivering this.
Now, of course, I'm sure their lives are a lot more stable.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure you and all the people in Bathinda must be having blessings from all of them.
Blessing to pata nahi Mrs. Pradhan, but the call when they used to give me कि इतना कुछ भिजवा दिया आपने, तो I used to say कि it is not only me, please पूरा army station. In fact ये radio पे भी आया था Mr. Pradhan that Indian Army Bathinda Cant is helping people to giving the food to these underprivileged people. So that was a great achievement of Bathinda.
I still can't hear her. What have you done?
Yeah.
Come
Okay.
here.
So I also wanted to just ask you, Sapna, you've been doing a lot. And I know right now, and it's not ended. Your journey, I think, is just started. Just would like you to just share with maybe all of us over here, how can we help? I know some of the people who have joined in and I hear are already supporting you in many ways, but how can we help? How can we be a part of what you're doing?
Biggest help, of course, is the finances. And I have never asked, Ms. Pradhan, I really don't like asking money, but then I request if you can pay for their medicines, if you can pay for their chemotherapy, if you can pay for their tests. So this is how you can, anybody can contact me and directly pay to the lab or medical. Another thing is clothes, food, protein powder, juices, milk. All these things are important because the place, I'm telling you, home away home that we have created, their ration is the biggest this thing. We try to put a lot of ration there so that food is not a problem. And another, I have 2-3 dharamshalas also, Ms. Pradhan. If I can provide them with juices, if I can provide the kids with protein powders, if I can provide them with books, toys, that's also great help. Because they are kids, they are very excited. If you give them a drawing book in color also, they're like, wow, drawing, and they'll start doing, and it's beautiful to watch them doing all this, playing, toys, and of course clothes. So this is how anybody can help.
Thank you so much, Sapna, for sharing this. I think you have some photographs that you wanted to show us.
Hanji.
Yeah, would you like to share?
I'll share my screen.
Yeah.
Ms. Pradhan, can you see my screen?
Yeah, there it's starting. Yeah.
So, Ms. Pradhan, this is actually, I'm doing cancer awareness program. This is what we do. And hosting a seminar, again, a cancer awareness program.
Okay, so this is at Bathinda.
This is Bathinda.
Okay. Yeah, I see you've also done this thing for the ward Didis.
This is Asha workers, Asha Didis, Ms. Pradhan.
Mhm.
Asha Didis are basically a concept developed by the government. Every village has one Asha Didi, and
Mhm.
any problem, any medical issue or anything, they can contact her, and she's in direct contact with the government authorities.
Right.
Hanji.
Okay. Okay.
I am trying to change the photo.
I think right click on the screen.
Just give me a moment.
Ah. Yeah.
I'll try to do it again. I'm so
Okay.
sorry for.
Yeah.
Bishwan,
My God, so tiny.
Yeah, he's Yash.
Okay.
He's 2.5 and he has a brain tumor.
Oh my God.
He's right now in PGI. He's getting his treatment. And I was blessed enough to help him in the family. That's Yash.
My.
Yeah. This is, I just made a collage of the activities that we do. These are my patients sitting in the room. This is Bathinda, Mrs. Pradhan.
Okay.
Yeah, these are doctors. That is the oncologist in the blue shirt. And look at the age of the children. They are suffering from different kind of cancers.
My God, most of them are barely 10, not even 10.
Anji, this is PGI. This is PGI, Mr. Pradhan. There's a dharamshala. This is where I generally go and visit these kids. They are staying there, and I'm just talking to them. You know, aaj tumne kya kiya and all that. So somebody just clicked the photograph. One of again my friend Vaibhav, he clicked this photograph. This is online counseling going on when the lockdown was there. So the doctor is on the phone. She is on video call. She's talking to the patients and reviewing their reports and telling us what to do, what test and what medication we are supposed to provide to the patients.
Mhm.
This is online thing going on. There's some little craft we used to do. Of course, if they're coming, so I wanted them to do something, some creative. So we used to sit and do all this. This is again a nursing school which visited our hospital, and we were just introducing how and what work we do, so that at least word of mouth will spread, and more patients will be able to help, because Bathinda is again a cancer capital.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah, Bathinda is a cancer capital of India.
Oh.
In my tenure in Bathinda, I have helped more than 200 patients, Ms. Pradhan.
Oh my.
Yeah.
My God.
We used to go to villages and we used to find out, we used to look for the symptoms that, okay, these kind of symptoms can be of cancer. We used to get them tested and they used to be cancer positive, and we used to get them and, get their treatment done. We have done this also. Village to village we used to go. This some lecture I'm giving on hygiene or something. We have arranged, again, my Bathinda, one of the unit had this raising day. So blood donation camp we did, because cancer patients need blood very frequently.
Okay.
So for that we needed blood. This is again a cancer awareness program which is going on.
Nice.
So it's slow, I guess. So, I'll just show you some other. This is Mamta I was talking. Look at her smile now. She's Mamta.
Okay. Yeah.
That's Priyanka. Ms. Pradhan, I told you first case, Priyanka in
This one?
Bathinda.
Oh my God.
That's the girl, Priyanka. Look at her condition. This is the day I met her. I went to her house and picked her up in my car and got her to the hospital. This was her condition.
Oh my God.
And this is not cancer that is killing her, Ms. Pradhan. Stomach cancer is a very slow cancer. It is not an aggressive cancer. It doesn't kill you. But when you accept that you're going to die,
you give up kind of.
Your mind is a very powerful machine. If you, whatever you want to do, if you tell your mind that I want to die, you will end up dying. But if you tell yourself, no, I want to do it and I want to live, you will end up living.
My God,
this is her recent photograph.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, so that's the difference. This is how counseling and medicine, when comes together, this is how the miracles happen.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And what a lovely smile.
Yeah. This is again a patient from Babina. He's my maid's husband. He's a very recent patient of mine. Oral cancer again, smoking, about tobacco and stuff. This is the first time when I met Yash, that boy, 2.5 saal ka. This is when I met him. Hanji. This is again.
Right.
So this is how small. I just gathered some of the pictures to show. So this is what we do.
Yeah. Thank you. Great work, Sapna. And to just start off and start building this community that you started, because I know a lot of people who have logged in are also part of your network that's supporting you. And I would really like to thank everyone here. Sapna, if there was one message that you would like to give all of us, what would that be?
Ms. Pradhan, this is not related to cancer. This is a simple statement which I'm going to give. Choose wisely. Whatever you choose in your life is what you are. I was 19-year-old when I chose not to die. I was 31 years old when I left my career and chose to be a volunteer social worker. And this is what today I am. And I'm so happy and satisfied with my soul that whatever I'm doing, it's worth my life. So it's very important what you choose. Choose a thing which makes your life worth living. So this is my message, that please make good choices which makes your soul fulfilled.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I'm sure people have some questions. So I can, may I request all of you, you all could just put on your video and ask your question, and you can unmute yourselves and ask your questions. We're open for questions now, or anything that you would like to say to Sapna. Yeah. Any questions? You can unmute yourselves.
There are a lot of messages coming up.
Yeah, I can see the messages coming up. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Pradhan. Thank you so much, Sameer.
Thank you,
Pranal.
Yeah.
Yes, Sameer, you're your college friend. Greatly. I heard all your talk. Really appreciate everything you have done. Thank you so much, and surely help you or with you in some way at all possible for me.
Sameer, thank you so much. Ms. Pradhan, Sameer, Mrinal, these are my college time friends, and they have witnessed that how I went through cancer treatment and stuff. And they were such a support. One of my friends, Munna and Sneha, I have these best friends. We are friends for like 20 years now. They did not let me live in my home. My dad took a posting back to the Devlali and says, no, Sapna is not going to stay with you. She'll stay with us in the hostel and we'll take care of her. So the support system I had, and today also the support system I have, is commendable. I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful.
Wonderful.
Sameer is one of them.
I was there at Ashwini Hospital as well to see you once.
You had taken me to admit to the hospital, I remember.
No, I saw you. Yeah, that day, I do not remember that, but I was there to see you at Mumbai, that Kolaba area.
Yes, I was admitted in Mumbai, so these guys came to meet there. Sameer had come to meet me there.
Right.
Yeah.
Any questions? What I would be doing is I would be sharing Sapna's phone number and details of how you can connect with her for any, like she said, supporting supporting her patients in the medication. I will share that with you on your emails, the details. And also I'll be posting this on YouTube. You can share her story further. Yes. So any questions, anything that you would like to say, please put on your videos, unmute, and you can say to Sapna. And if there are no questions, then we'll close.
And thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining in.
Yes. Yes.
I would like to say that I'm really proud to have you as a regimental lady.
Oh, Pradhan, thank you so much. This is a very big statement. In fact, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So thank you everybody for coming on. Thank you so much for joining in. And yes, thank you, Sapna. Thank you for
Thank you,
giving this
thank you.
time, sharing your story. There were so many new facets that we understood about what cancer is. And I really didn't realize that the stigmas were so huge, you know, that can completely change.
They are.
One was aware of a few things, but one always thought, you know, itna to nahi hoga. Like awareness probably is quite a bit now, but when I realize now that probably awareness
Still there.
is still there, and a lot
not
of work needs to
society
get
related.
done. Yeah.
It's everywhere. And
Yeah.
in fact, in the upper middle class, it's more.
Mm. And thank you so much for being candid about sharing your story. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Mrs.
I
Purana.
don't think Karan has been able to join in, but
I think he did.
he did
but
maybe
I'm
for a
sure
while and had to, yeah.
had it for a while.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you
you.
everyone for joining in,
Thank you, Mrs.
giving your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.